Hello, this is Richard from Beyond Marathon. Today I'm going to take you through our video course briefing all about the White Horse 50 and the White Horse 100, which you're taking part in. So the event website, of course, you will all have signed up from. Just one thing to point out on the event website is you can already download the GPX files, which are the route files from the websites from here and here. It's actually the same download. If you are downloading them using an iPhone or an Apple device, they download as a zip file, so you'll need an unzip application. And once you've got that file, your unzip app will open it and you'll be able to take out the appropriate GPX file, either the 50-mile one or the 100-mile one, depending on which route you are doing. Okay, so I've got quite a lot to tell you about the event. You already have seen the guidebook, so I'm not going to go through all the information which is in the guidebook again. But what I am going to do is take you through a course overview. In order to do that, I've actually got two different maps up here. I've got the Google Earth satellite view and I've got the Ordnance Survey route. The navigation, largely speaking, is very straightforward. You're following the White Horse National Trail, but the trail does have various branches and certain circuits which visit different horses and different areas. So you do have to keep an eye out for the footpath markers, but also please use the GPX file that we provide and install that on your mobile phone using one of the free apps, or if you've got a watch or a dedicated tracking device, use that as well. We are giving you a dedicated GPS tracker which you will wear on your shoulder, and that will send your information to our tracking system, which is TrackTrail, and there'll be a map similar to this one here where all of your little icons will appear like this one here. This is actually an event in progress at the moment, someone doing the Bob Graham round, so all your participants would be listed along here. You could even, if you were misplaced on the route, you could even search for your own name and zoom in on yourself. Let me just remove those ETAs, and you'd be able to see where you are in relation to the route. So it's a useful a function to have the GPS tracker, both for you possibly, but mainly to share with your friends and family who might want to track you on the route. Okay, so let's switch back over to the route itself. So as you're aware, the route begins in the middle of Marlborough. I'm going to zoom right the way into to Marlborough on an Ordnance Survey map here. It actually begins at the Community and Youth Centre. Now, as you can probably see as I zoom right in, it has got a very small car park which has got, I'm going to say, I don't know, 16 or 20 spaces on there. That's likely to fill up pretty quickly, but there is lots of parking, on road parking, as you can see, all the way around these areas. Just make sure you do park considerately, or of course you can find somewhere to park inside Marlborough in the town centre somewhere as well. Okay, so you're going to be registering in this area here, ideally outside of this location. As I've reminded you in the guidebook, please use the loos before you arrive to the venue. Once we've registered you, there'd be a start line set up here with an RFID timing mat, which you'll run across to start your clock, and then your timer starts for your own little chip device. That chip device is a little red one, which is separate to the GPS tracker. Do make sure that when you cross the line, it's kind of below your waist, ideally below the knee, and it'll set off a big beep when it goes off. A lot of people sometimes wear the chips inside their bags rather than putting them around their laces in order to make sure they don't lose them. So it's a good idea to just keep it in your bag if you wish, but make sure you take your bag off and make sure it goes over the mat before you start. Okay, so from there on, you are heading out of Marlborough, just on the main roads really, until you get to a point. Let me just zoom out very slightly, where you get onto a cycle track, which is just a little bit further on. at this point in here. So you're on the main roads right the way through Marlborough until you get to that point there, and this is where you actually join the White Horse Trail. So there's a little road crossing here, some little metal bollards, and then you'll turn right onto this trail, initially a cycle trail, and then it heads up on a path on the edge of these fields right here, and you end up going right the way past this Manton Down. There's a manor house up here, Manton House, and there's even a little horse racing circuit that you'll pass on the way up here as well. So let me zoom right the way out. So this is all very straightforward and nice easy path to follow. You end up coming onto a gravel type lane a little bit later on. So I think from around here onwards it turns into a big wide gravel track that's actually drivable. I've driven up this myself. So you go right the way up here, and then you do a quick left, and then there's a right hand turn again to stay on the White Horse Trail, which takes you up again over more fields, and ultimately you end up on the Ridgeway, which is you join the Ridgeway at this point here. So again, this is a big wide 4x4 track that vehicles 4x4 vehicles can drive up. There's a lot of those in this area, and indeed the trail uses quite a lot of these gravel type tracks. That leads you all the way up to the First Horse, which is at Hackpen. I've put this little out and back down there for those of you who want to pop down and actually see the horse, but you can also see it if you carry on along the route and obviously look back. If I zoom right in here, you can see it there. It's bigger than it looks. That one is, but it's by no means the largest of the horses. There's some very sizable ones that you're going to pass. So once you pass that First Horse, you continue on, and then let me catch up with it on this map here. There we go, that's where the horse is. Again, you can see from the National Trail here, which is this diamond type sign, you're heading all the way in to Broad Hinton to reach the first checkpoint. Now, the White Horse Trail itself, as you can see probably on this map, it actually cuts across the field, but we are keeping you on the main road that goes all the way through Broad Hinton until we get to the village hall. And if I zoom right the way in a little bit more, you should be able to spot the village hall, which is here. Okay, so we're going to be set up ideally outside, but we'll be able to use the inside of any of these buildings of Broad Hinton, and that's at the 9.5 mile mark. And then after you'll exit, continue right along the road almost until you get to the crossroads at the end, and there's another little you'll rejoin the White Horse path, and again there's a finger post with a little White Horse disc on there, which leads you across these fields and straight on. Officially, you'll see the White Horse Trail goes kind of straight across here, but the farmer tends to grow the crops across here, so you'll end up sticking to the edge of the field. Again, it's all one straight trail. You can't go far wrong at all. You'll end up crossing an old Iron Age fort type area with lots of little lumps and bumps and things and groundworks here. You head down a little hill, then you do a sharp left to stay on the White Horse Trail. Again, this is all signed, and you continue alongside these, keeping these trees on your left hand side right the way through, and eventually you'll come past the second horse at Broadtown. There are a few little paths. Some people like to go up and take a top path. You can see the horse just about there, but I just recommend staying on the bottom path. It saves you going up, coming right the way along, and then coming back down again. There are two parallel paths, so take your pick, but I would personally say just stay with the main path. If you don't know it's there, you probably wouldn't turn up to the left anyway, so just stick on the main path, which is very well trodden indeed, and follow it right the way through until you get to Broadtown. And you come out by some houses, you go right the way through to the end of the road, which will lead you out here, and it's a little left then a right to continue actually on a little country road here. So you're on a tarmac lane right the way up until I think this point here where it changes into a gravel track again, and that leads you all the way through to a small little place called Cliff Pippard. and that's little place here. You'll go right the way through Cliff Pippard, past an old pub which is now closed down, and then once you've exited Cliff Pippard, again you are back on a little road for a while until you get to this point here. And at this point in time, which is here on the map, let me just take you through there. It is there where that road bends sharply left. There is a sign for the White Horse Trail that leads you onto and over these fields. And as you can probably see with this section, this path boards broadly in a southwest direction right the way through to the next little town. So if there was one tricky area for nav, it would be this area, only because it cuts through a motor cross track and there's not much of a path to follow here. But as you can see, as long as you pretty much go in a straight line right the way through, you're fine. The GPX file that I've created is absolutely spot on and mapped to the ground, so it will lead you perfectly to every stile, every gap in the fence. So just basically follow it right the way along through until you get through to the next road crossing, and that next road crossing is this little place here at Clevency. You will cross a tarmac lane at that point in time. You'll turn right for 5 meters, no more, and then left through a little bush, and again you go across some fields for a little while. Let me go across there. You head straight the way across this corner, and there's actually a little field boundary here which you go across. If memory serves, it's a little bridge, or it's a gap in the fence anyway. So you cut through there and go straight the way down to the very end. And again, you can see all of these have been drawn exactly for the GPS file, so it shows you where to go along, where to cut through the hedge. But as long as you're following the footpathway markers, you can't really go very far wrong on here. Ultimately, that leads you out to join a tarmac track, and that tarmac track leads you up past a farm, a little place called Highway, and then you turn left, again signed on the White Horse Trail, and this leads you up to the farm here, and where the farm track turns sharp right, you'll go left up a wide gravelly track that leads gently up a hill. And once it gets to the top of that hill, you continue to follow the White Horse Trail, as you can see here, and it leads you all the way across these fields. Again, you can't go wrong at all. It's very obvious, big wide track. Takes you right the way across to this point here, across between these field boundaries, a little left then right. Again, it's all very obvious to follow. There's only one obvious way to go, and at this point in time you cut across the field and you go and join a wide track before very long. So you can just about see there's a kind of big wide green track, and once you're on this track, this leads you right the way down to a road which you then turn right on, and this road takes you down into Churhill. So here we go here, and this is the White Horse Trail, and so you're on a tarmac lane here, and this is Churhill, which is our second point at 20.5 miles. So you're seeing you're doing a short out and back of a few hundred meters down to Churhill Village Hall. So once you've visited Churhill Village Hall, you'll go back, rejoin the route, go and cross the road, and then there's a big sign here telling you all about the Churhill Horse, which you'll be able to see just over here. So and there it is there. Okay, so that's the Churhill Horse at that point in time. You'll go gently up a hill, climbs all the way up, and you'll come up to a monument at the top. You skirt around the monument, following the main track, and you're at the top of a hill here. As you can probably see, is a big climb, a steep climb right the way down there. You just stay right on the top of the hill, and you follow the main White Horse Trail right the way down to here, and then you're going to be joining the Wessex Ridgeway. So you go past a farm barn at this point in time. There's a little 4x4 off-road track that you'll regularly see driving their off-road vehicles. And then at this point in time, you will turn right. There's a backstop here. So this is the main road, which is the A4. So if you reach the A4, then you know you've gone too far. But again, there's an obvious sign, a big wide track. Not that they're supposed to, but vehicles drive along this. I think it should be closed to vehicle traffic, but 4x4 cars do drive along it sometimes. So you'll turn right and go right the way along this, up until the point where the White Horse Trail turns left and does indeed cross the A4. Now, this is where there's a change in the route. Well, I say a change in the route. There's a difference in the route. What I'm going to do is switch on the White Horse 100 pass so you can see the difference between the two. Let me just get the maps the same. So here are those two sections matching here. You can see that the red route, which is the White Horse 100, is actually a little bit shorter. So at this point in here, they are actually following a shorter route, whereas the green route, which is the 50, are remaining on the White Horse Trail. So the 100-mile is a deliberately shorter route. So don't accidentally follow everybody in this area, because you might end up on the wrong route and you'll end up doing too little or too much mileage as a result. And this ultimately leads you all the way into Avebury. So Avebury here, famous for the stone circle. This is Avebury Stone Circle, and rather unfortunately it's been split into 3 or 4 different sections by the roads that run right the way through it. So it's not particularly easy to get right the way round the circle in a fluid motion. And at the moment, and over the last month or two, they've closed the gate here due to some erosion in this area. Originally, we were going to bring you and take you right the way around the circle into the checkpoint and then back round. But as a result of them closing this gate, the National Trust closed this gate, you would end up having to do an out and back and then another out and back, and it was a little bit messy. So the best thing to do is for us to take you straight into the checkpoint, and it's up to you if you want to, at your own leisure. You could go around this way and see some of the stones. You could do an out and back along here. Likewise, you could do an out and back along here. But ultimately, you're going to end up at Avebury Sports and Social Club, which is at this building here. And once you've done there, you can then either backtrack on the same route, or if you wish, you can go and you see some of the standing stones on there. You can cut through the gate at this point in time and go straight across, or backtrack a little bit and see these some of the standing stones at Avebury. But we are going to bring you more or less straight into the checkpoint in Avebury and then back out. So you're going to retrace your steps when you're coming out of Avebury for the most part, and then the two roads are back in sync again. So you go through Avebury Truslow, which is here, and again this is all on a small country lane. And you'll follow this track here, which takes you through again to there's a horse racing type area all the way around here, which you'll see in a minute. There's horse racing gallop tracks all over the place. So this road takes you right the way along. You go along side a main road here. You cross the road. And then importantly here, this is a horse racing gallop track exercise area, and there's a little sign on the gate that says this is usable in the afternoons on Saturdays by the public. So you'll see people walking the dogs, etc. So what you don't want to do really is go right the way down there and turn along there, because the main road, the A361 there, doesn't have a footpath. So we've deliberately put you on the horse gallop, or the path next to it, to go right the way along into the corner of the field, and then right when you get to the corner, there's a gate here which takes you out onto the there's a little area you can walk along there on the main road, on the grass at the main road, and then you are turning right back onto the Wessex Ridgeway and the White Horse Trail. So again, this is a big 4x4 track which you will which you'll go along, and you follow that right the way up. Again, this is all White Horse Trail, all White Horse Trail. Let me zoom out a little bit, it's quite long. A nice, easy, as you can follow, nice and straightforward. And then when you get to the end of this section, I think there's a little summit point, little transmitter here up near the top. You'll follow the White Horse Trail, and you've got to be careful here because this is where there is one of those splits. So as long as you're following the GPX file, the White Horse Trail may well push you out along here, and this is where we are bringing you down to remain on the 4x4 trail. So they're both kind of 4x4 roads which you can drive on, so you may see vehicles at some point in time on either of these places here. But let me just zoom in one little bit more. So you'll know when you're up here because you can see these transmitter areas. So that's your indicator for turning left at this point in time, and then basically following and joining that byway, which is the 4x4 trail, and a spur of the White Horse Trail. You can see both ways is the White Horse Trail. You'll come right the way down, all the way to the next White Horse, which is at Alton Barnes. So here is the Alton Barnes White Horse, quite a nice one, this one. And once you've gone to Alton Barnes, you'll continue on through lovely, big, wide, grassy, fantastic tracks to run on, like a lot of the areas you'll be on today. And you'll go to the Alton Barnes car park, which is around 40 miles, really, a little bit more than 39. And at this point in time, this is where the 100-mile route splits from the 50. So I'll show you that there. So it's a very short section of about 3 kilometers, about 2 miles, where this green track leaves the White Horse Trail and then joins and then shoots across and rejoins the route at this point here, and we'll come back to that a little bit later on because I'm going to continue with the 100-mile description at this point in time. But basically, there's a short 2-mile section where the 50 milers will shortcut, and it is a major route. You're not a very minor footpath. It is a big, wide, nice trail that you're joining until you rejoin the main White Horse route later. But for now, what I'm then going to do is let me switch on the sidebar and just turn on the 100 route at this point in time. Right, so let me deal with the 100 route at this point in time. So you're at 40 miles, and this is where the 100 milers split away. Initially, you backtrack as though you're going back up towards the Alton Barnes White Horse, but at the path fork, rather than going back to the horse, you take the left fork, and that will lead you down into Alton Priors, Alton Barnes itself, where you are going to get on the canal. Couldn't be easier for the next great big long section, and that canal leads you right the way through Devizes. And let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Yeah, let me zoom out. So you've got a short section from the horse into Alton Barnes, then you're on the canal right the way along here, along here, along here, along here, right the way through to Devizes, and right the way through to this point. So very easy to turn your navigation head off because there's none to do. And there is the White Horse of Devizes. This is the only one we're not going right next to. There is a White Horse Trail spur that leads you through there. In fact, it comes down from there, which is that other spur I was talking about. But you'll actually get a nice view of it as you run along the canal anyway, and you'll see it up on the hill opposite there. As I say, you can see it from the satellite view here. So you will see that horse and probably get a better view from there than you would if you were standing right next to that particular one anyway. So nice easy section to take you through to the end of the canal through Devizes, and then you turn off the canal at this point here. Again, you're still on the White Horse Trail, so this isn't a path we've switched you off the canal off. This is following the White Horse Trail. This is going to take you through to Poolshot. Now, we've diverted you off the White Horse Trail into Pulshot Village Hall. That officially is the White Horse Trail along this track. Not a particularly pleasant track. It's a big wide one, not particularly nice one. But anyway, we've deliberately diverted you off to bring you to Pulshot Village Hall, which is on the road. So you're going to remain on the road right the way through into Pulshot and come and visit the Village Hall, which is this little building here. And then once you've done that, you continue on your way right the way through Pulshot, again on the tarmac lane, until you get back onto the White Horse Trail. And you're going to remain on the main road all the way into Bulkington. Now, we've changed the route after Bulkington. I'm going to zoom out just a touch on here. So between Bulkington and between Bratton, the White Horse Trail, if I zoom into it, you can see here goes across quite a lot of fields here and here and here and also along this section as well. Now, because you're going to be hitting this section in the dark, and having been through that section myself, I know that it's far easier to keep you on the roads. The quiet country lanes, and especially at night in this section, you'll thank me for it. If you really want to stick on the White Horse Trail, you can do, and the White Horse Trail is technically a little bit shorter, but you're going to be cutting kind of across the field here and across the field here and across a field there. The road is going to be a little bit faster, so my advice is, rather than follow the White Horse Trail across all these fields, is to stick on these roads, which the GPX file will take you along. So really all you're doing is following the road signs from Bulkington to Keyville, from Keyville to Steeple Ashton, and then we put you that you do follow the White Horse Trail a little bit here rather than taking you straight down this road. But we bring you across a small piece of trail there, which is the White Horse. You pick it up again there, and then we take you off the White Horse Trail to stay on the road and follow the road signs all the way into Bratton, rather than bringing you through this section of fields here. Once you get into Bratton, again, the White Horse Trail actually goes this way and goes there. We need to bring you through to the Jubilee Hall checkpoint, which is there. So if I zoom into Bratton at this point in time, so the Jubilee Hall's at this point in time here. So you've diverted off the White Horse Trail into the middle of Bratton to the Jubilee Hall, and then you will turn on your heels and take the first fork left. And we've then devised a nice easy route, which is tarmac as far as about here, and then you go on a gravel track to rejoin the tarmac lane here, and this leads you all the way to the Westbury White Horse near Bratton. So this is the very famous one that you see. This is the largest of them all, if I remember rightly. And we've swung you onto the trail at this point in time, so you'll swing past the White Horse. Depending on what time you get here, of course, it could be in the middle of the night, but hopefully you'll catch a glimpse of that horse, and eventually that route will lead you onto the car park up here. So once you get to the car park, follow the main car park route out and then turn right. And once you're right, you're on this big wide gravel track, and at this point in here, and I'm going to zoom out again, all of this area is the MOD area, and this red line here, which I will zoom out and show you on the map, so the red line that you were following for about 12 miles, if my memory serves me, from there right the way through to there is the road which borders the Ministry of Defence land. I say road, it's a gravel track, and there is grass alongside much of it, so if you want to run on the gravel track you can, if you want to run on the grass you can. So just make sure you stay on that gravel track and don't wander into the MOD area. It's should be fairly difficult to do, especially if you're following the GPX file, because it is one great big road. But there are a couple of areas where the military have got access points. They take the tanks and what have you onto this and blow stuff up, from what I can gather. But we're not going into this MOD area at all. all you're doing is staying on this gravel track and following it right the way on until you get to the checkpoint, which I will show you. I think I'll just have to turn the sidebar on again and just make sure all of those are turned on, which they are. Right. Okay, let's take you through to this point in time. So you've got a roadside checkpoint. There's a little tiny car park just here, and that's at that point there. And once you've passed that checkpoint, which is the 75 mile CP, one of the few outdoor ones that we've got, as well as Alton Barnes, you'll continue along through to the next main section where the White Horse Trail finally turns left. You can see here an example of where there's a grass track running alongside the gravel track, and it's up to you which one you want to take, depending on how your feet are feeling. So you're going to turn left to follow the White Horse Trail, and you're going to head down and cross the main road just before Charlton. So here's the road here that you cross there. And then there is a combination of a little bit of farmland and a little bit of country lane section, which leads you through a couple of little villages. You can see South Newton here, Manningford as well. And then the White Horse Trail, again, all White Horse Trail, will lead you right the way down and past the Pewsey Horse, which is here. And I've put a little out and back to it from the end of the trail in case you want to nip up and have a look at the horse. It's probably going to be light by then, well, maybe for some of you. And once you've seen the little white horse, you're then going to head into Pewsey. Now, I'll point it out in the guidebook, but the White Horse Trail at this point in time switches away and actually goes this way into Pewsey. Actually, let me just remove that. And we were originally going to have a checkpoint here, and we changed our mind. So the Pewsey checkpoint is at the Scout Hut. Okay, so we're going to keep you on the road. So this is Pewsey itself. Here is the main area, the main town centre. So you're going to come on the main road here, right the way through, and the Scout Hut is at this point in time here. So follow the GPX file. This again is all main road. Through the town centre. It's the main route through the main town centre, and then you'll pick up the White Horse Trail again at this point in time, and you turn left and follow the main route out. So you're on the White Horse Trail across some farmland, and when you cross the road at this point in time, which is at 92 miles, I think from memory, around 90 miles, you will have a bit of a sting in the tail. This is called the Giant's Grave. Big horseshoe-shaped hill. Don't think quite does it justice, but that's a short and sharp little climb to that you'll thank me for at the end of the route. So there's a horseshoe-shaped hill which is there. Let me just show you on this map here. There it is there, the Giant's Grave, and it's Orr Hill. And you'll go right the way around, and again you're still on the White Horse Trail. And at this point in time here, this little forest corner, this is where the 50-mile route rejoins. So 50 miles, if you're still with me, this is where you're going to be rejoining the White Horse Trail. The two routes will merge, and then you'll follow a very easy to follow path right the way alongside and through the woods here, West Woods, and continue to follow the White Horse Trail. Very straightforward, easy to follow, until you finally get to see the last horse, which is the Marlborough horse. I'll zoom right the way in. It's hidden behind the there we go, hidden behind the icon there, but you can just about see the Marlborough horse, and that will lead you right the way through into the town centre, where you reverse your tracks and head right the way back to the finish line at Marlborough Community Centre. Okay, so it's actually a lot easier to follow than it may sound. Remember, you're following this little circular waymark discs. I've got White Horse Trail on there, but it is important for you to carry a device which has got the GPX file so you can have some backup navigation. But remember, you can also check your location on the tracker map if you had to as well. And we'll be keeping an eye on the tracker map, and if anyone goes too far astray, we'll of course give you a call. So keep your mobile phone on and accessible, just in case we need to give you a bell and let you know. But we don't really expect anyone to get hugely lost, and we have made deliberate changes to the course in those few places that have been mentioned, just in order to keep mainly on that 100-mile section between CP5 and 6, just to make life very easy for you navigation wise. Also, remember that you're going to be starting at intervals, probably 30 seconds or a minute between you. So in theory, if you're starting towards the rear, there should be a great big long string of people to follow ahead of you. Again, more ways that you should be able to stay nicely on course. So we look forward to welcoming you for the White Horse 50 and the White Horse 100, and we'll see you on the day.